Hey everybody. So I figured since I'm doing this channel on my spiritual beliefs on the Kemetic Orthodoxy, might as well kind of give you an introduction to my beliefs and also kind of a general note of sorts in relation to the videos that I will be doing on this channel. What I would like to say is that, just to start things off, my beliefs are my own. What I believe, how I interpret things, how I practice, is not necessarily how everybody in the House of Netjer practices. The way that I interpret certain things is not necessarily the same way that everybody in the house interprets things. My practice is my own. I share a lot of common beliefs with people in the house, but I also may disagree with individual practices that others in the house may have, or individual interpretations that others in the house may have. It doesn't make theirs any less valid. It doesn't make mine any less valid. It just means that we kind of see things differently. And one of the cool things about the house is that that's okay. You don't have to necessarily believe everything exactly the same way. With the Kemetic Orthodoxy, there are no real hard and fast rules. It's not a religion of thou shalt not do this. It's not a religion of thou must do this. It's a religion of here are, some common beliefs that we have. Here are, historical sources that we have. Here are the modern practices that we have come up with that are a part of our faith that were developed at the direction of the names or gods themselves. But how you individually practice is really yours. You own that. It is your practice, no one else's. So just to get that out of the way, I don't want people to take the things that I put here as that's what the house does. That's what everybody in the house does. Well, Bastmuttepta said that you guys believe this. I don't want it to be that kind of a channel. This is the way I do things. This is the way I see my spirituality. And people are more than welcome to interpret things the way that they would like to. I just feel like it's important to see things from an insider perspective. It's important to see things from a personal perspective and not just here are some words on the internet, interpret them as you will. So basically, I'm just going to kind of give a general overview of the KO. Kemetic Orthodoxy is a new religion. It is not, this is the ancient faith that the ancient Egyptians practiced, and this is exactly what they did, and whatever. It's not like that. We take a lot from ancient practices, from what we know, from historical documents that we have, but we also bring in a lot of modern interpretation, and we do put a lot of emphasis on personal practice, on personal experiences. It's more bringing the spirit of ancient Egyptian religion into a modern context. It's not necessarily hard and fast, Reconstructionism. We do reconstruct some, but it's not like they did it like this, so we must do it like this. It's not like that. So we worship Kemetic or Egyptian gods. We refer to them by their Kemetic names, not their Greek. So where many of you probably know Anubis, we call him Yinapu or Anpu. Thoth, we call him Jehuti. It's basically just, I guess some people interpret it that some of the Greek versions of the gods are not the same as the Kemetic versions of the gods, like especially Isis and Aset. Some people would equate them as being the same goddess, but I know many children of Aset who will say she is not Isis. They have some similarities, but they are not the same. So, it all depends on how your interactions with them go. Your mileage may vary, but a lot of children of Aset will tell you that she is not the same as Isis. An important thing that I should probably mention here is the way we actually see the gods. So basically, we have a monolatrous view. Again, there may be some variations. Some people may say, I don't really agree with the whole monolatry thing. But in general, KO follows a monolatrous view, which basically means that our gods are one and many. So as one, we refer to our gods as Netjer. As many, we refer to them as their individual names, like bast-mut, Sekhmet, Het-Hert, etc. I try to use the analogy of a hand, where each of your fingers is like a name of Netjer, and your hand is Netjer itself. You can move them individually, you can move them together. They're separate, but they're also one. It's not exactly the same as being facets. They very much are gods in their own right, but they're also part of the same divine force. So another interesting thing is that a lot of our gods kind of meld with each other and have a very distinct relationship with each other. There's two basic forms of that. We have syncretized deities, and we have aspected deities. So, to give you an example of aspected deities, we have names like Sekhmet. Sekhmet is Sekhmet, but she can also be Het-Hert, or you may know her as Hathor. So, if someone is divined as a child of Sekhmet, they are a child of Sekhmet Het-Hert, which basically means Sekhmet and Het-Hert are a part of the same god, but the way that she presents to you is as Sekhmet. You may also get, Het-Hert coming to you sometimes. You may not. She may only ever come to you Sekhmet side up. Sorry, that was my phone. But the idea is that they're pretty much in the same deity. They're just one side or the other. How she presents herself to you is different. And you have others who are children of Het-Hert Sekhmet. The idea is that they do not show up without each other. Aspected names do not show up without each other. If you're a child of Sekhmet, you're a child of Sekhmet Het-Hert. If you're a child of Het-Hert, you're a child of Het-Hert Sekhmet. One does not come without the other. The second type I mentioned is syncretized deities, which I know a good bit about because I am a child of a syncretized deity. I am a child of Bast-mut. Bast-mut is a syncretization between the goddess Bast and the goddess Mut. And there are a couple different interpretations of how this works. Some people believe that Mut is more of a title than it is a deity when used in conjunction with other gods. So they would say that Bast-mut is Bast in her form as queen. But I get a little bit more than that. I get a little bit different than that. I do think that she is a very regal version of Bast, but I also believe that I do get a lot of Mut. It's almost like when you're baking and you have separate elements. You may have like eggs and flour, but you put the eggs and flour together and it creates something entirely new. So say Bast is the eggs, Mut is the flour. You don't have flour and eggs, you have a cake. Whereas with aspected deities, it would be more like a coin. You get a quarter, head side up, you're looking at George Washington. Other side up, you're either looking at an eagle or whatever state coin you happen to have. It's either heads or tails. They're both on the same coin, but it's either heads or tails. So that's just basically a general overview of the different ways that gods present to us. This video is getting ridiculously long, so I'm going to cut it off there. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments to leave, feel free to do so. Be respectful, please. I'm not, gonna tolerate any idiocy in the comments. Don't make any stupid, meaningless stuff. Constructive criticism is welcome, but other than that, just seriously, go find something constructive to do. And that's it for now. Snap tea.